Hey you guys, I am so excited today to talk to you guys about this tomato patch and how I brought it back to life, because just 2 months ago, these were looking so sad they were dying from herbicide poisoning. First off, I want to say thank you to Organic Rev for sponsoring today's episode. I cannot wait to share with you guys the story of what the heck happened to these plants, how it happened, and how I brought them back to life so that you will know not to make the same mistake that I did. All right, there are 4 tomatoes right here growing. Let me just kind of show you guys how they look right now, because they really, I don't know, can you guys tell that they've been poisoned in like 2 months ago? Let me tell you guys the story about how the herbicide poisoning happened to these tomatoes. Earlier in the season, I started growing out these tomatoes. I planted about, I think, 6 of them in this patch, and it was going to be a tomato experiment using Organic Rev. Some of you guys may be familiar with that video. I wanted to do an experiment to see how well the plants will respond to the Organic Rev. Some plants I used this product, and some plants I did not, and I wanted to do an updated video for you guys to see the differences. However, nature has its own plan for me. That didn't work out because these plants ended up getting herbicide poisoning, because as some of you guys may know, that we are going through a drought. So I wanted a way to preserve water by putting mulch down. Mulch has its benefits. It is wonderful to use. However, you got to know where the source comes from, because what ended up happening to mine was that I just, I was, being cheap. So I just pulled up in some random place and saw that there was like a bale of a straw for animal feed. I pulled up and just, gave the man some cash and took that home. These are the bad straws that I got. Don't they look perfectly fine to you? I mean, when things are dried up, they're just dried mulch, doesn't smell anything like herbicide, pesticide, fungicide, or chemicals at all. Sadly, this is going in the trash after this video, because I really do not want to be composting this stuff and then putting it back on my plants. I started putting them all over this patch, and in about a week after I transplanted the tomatoes and with the mulch down, the plant was looking great. Just in that first week of the growth was really nice, really healthy. The leaves were super green. However, especially when I do a lot of hand watering here, I have not finished with the drip irrigation setup here. So I was doing hand watering, and because hand watering would hit like the entire area with all this straw mulch, 3 weeks after I placed the straw mulch down, the plants started looking really sad. Like, it was, the leaves were kind of yellowy, lots of deformity, and like fern-like kind of curly leaves, especially on the top. The leaves got really skinny, and the plants were just kind of stretching. It just looked terrible. I couldn't figure it out that it was herbicide poisoning though. I had no idea that something that they put in herbicide or pesticide or any kind of chemicals in this food that you would feed to your animals or let them sleep on it. Suddenly, when the plants were like dying, I thought maybe there was too much water, so I checked, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll dig deeper. Maybe it's too little water, or maybe because it's planted against the wall, maybe the concrete is too warm that irradiated too much heat to, I don't know. I was just making excuses, I guess. I was just trying to find out what it was, because honestly, it wasn't that hot yet. And then suddenly I just had this spark thinking, oh my gosh, could it be some sort of chemical, pesticide? And so I started researching, and all those symptoms matched perfectly with these tomatoes. The moment I found that out, I immediately went and scraped up all the mulch and threw it out. After I identified the problem, I did not want to remove these plants and throw them out, and especially scooping up the soil that I have taken, so much time and putting all this good nutrients in the soil. I didn't want to throw them out, even though a lot of the research basically just told me there's nothing you can do to save these plants. Start over. So I kept looking, and eventually I landed on this article that said carbon in humic acid can help remove pesticide. The carbon would, help with the boost the microbial population to help remove toxins. It helps to break down toxins. Oh my gosh, what a relief when I heard that. So I thought, okay, well, what do I have around here that I can use? What's high in carbon? Yes, I can brew some compost tea like I normally do, and the garden responds really well to it because, compost tea has a lot of microbes in it. But I think I needed something that would work faster, and that's when it went bling. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time to test out to see if the stuff truly works. Organic Rev, because it is an organic growth stimulant that contains only one ingredient, that is 100% organic humic acids, and humic acids contains carbon in it, and carbon in humic acid is exactly what I needed. And the great thing about this product is that it's gone through a process that basically makes the particles a lot smaller, that would allow the plants to absorb it a lot faster, make it work more efficiently and faster, especially when you mix the stuff with some nutrients that you normally would apply to your soil or to your plants, or even like spray it on the leaves. It would make it work more efficiently, more effectively. Since I've done a previous episode about Organic Rev, there's more details about this product. If you guys want to learn more about it, I will put that link below for you. But in this video, I'm just going to focus on explaining how I applied this to see the results. Since I wanted to make sure that this product does live up to its claims, this is the only thing that I used to apply on the plants for like 5 weeks or so, until I saw a really dramatic turnaround with these plants. So I just basically followed the directions. Sometimes I would even double the dose. So here it says 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon of water for, spraying on the leaves or the root zone. I did that sometimes, and then sometimes I would even do up to 4 tablespoons per gallon of water. So I did that about every other day for the next 2 weeks. And then I just did like once every 2 to 3 days, using 2 tablespoons per gallon of water. By the 3rd week or the end of 3rd week, I'm starting to see, things are looking better. The leaves are less curly. Not a huge difference, but definitely I can tell that the plants are responding. The leaves are getting greener. And then I also actually supplemented with an outdoor LED grow light, because growing in this narrow space, there's a lack of sun. All these things that you use, are very helpful, but then it still needs the sun, that source for energy, to make everything work. So that's when I kind of started testing out the grow light. More information on that over at John Kohler Growing Your Greens channel. I would link you to that video once it is out. It'll go more in depth about outdoor grow lights if you guys are interested in that. But that's what I did. I added that source to help out with the 2 tomato plants on the side there against the wall for more brightness. So aside from the grow light, this is the only thing I applied for 5 weeks. The 3rd week, when I slowed down on doing like directly watering this into the roots, I started feeding the leaves with it. I did the same dose. It was a 2 tablespoons per gallon of water, and I sprayed the leaves down. And then there were days I also watered into this bed as well. So I did that for another 3 weeks or so. That's when I started seeing the dramatic difference in these plants. See, healthy tomato branches would kind of go up and straight, whereas before, when they were sick, it was kind of like drooping and made like a really sharp arch bend down like that. These tomatoes have grown to about 5.5 or 6 feet tall now, and that is I'm counting right there the base where the soil line is as the starting point. See that there's lots of flower buds on every single stem. There's a few that are setting fruits, I believe, but then there are also some that are dropping. It could either be that it is, the plants are still working on getting better, which is still really amazing. I mean, looking at them from being so sickly up to looking like this. Another reason why some of the flowers have dropped could be the excessive heat wave we just went through. It was like 105, 110 Fahrenheit last week. By the end of the 5th week, early 6th week, the plants finally had a dramatic turnaround. It was like beyond my belief that the plants look healthier than ever. They're putting out so much new growth. They're so lush. I actually cut back quite a bit so that I can kind of somewhat train it in this narrow space to kind of grow up and not be super messy. So I did do a lot of pruning, putting out so many tomato buds, and then I even got the 2 tomatoes that I harvest. They were so tasty. Let's open this up. This tomato just started to set fruit as it was being poisoned by the straw. So, it's very juicy. It's pretty sweet for like a more savory tomato. I don't know if it's actually for savory, but I think you make more savory dishes with it. Yeah, I don't taste anything like chemical in it. I'm just thankful that this fruit was able to continue to develop even after the poisoning from the straw. Now let's try it with some salt. Salt always makes tomatoes taste better. Really brings out more of that smokiness of this tomato. Love it. After seeing the plants have such dramatic change, that's when I started adding other fertilizers in, and I like using liquid fertilizers because it works a lot faster. Basically just a Fox Farm, nothing too special. I use these in the garden anyway, but I did this also adding 1 to 2 tablespoons of this per gallon of water. I wanted to make sure everything that I put in for the plants would work more efficiently and faster. So I added the organic ref, and I was doing this just kind of like everything was more back to normal kind of a feeding now. I was applying about once a week, sometimes 2 times a week, using the liquid fertilizer with it. That's pretty much what I did. After almost 2 months, things were just solid, so I just apply these on a regular basis once, the liquid fertilizers that is, once a week or once every other week, just like I do with everything else in the garden. If you guys want to check out Organic Rev, there is a promo code that I would put a link with my code down below, so you can go check out and get a discount on this product. It seems like the plants respond to the liquid fertilizers a lot faster when I add it to this. Even with the GreenStalk vertical garden, I can see that the plants seem to respond better when I was applying. Most of the time I apply this, and once in a while when I watered in with that, I also added a couple tablespoons of Organic Rev in it, and they respond really well, especially with that curry. Oh my goodness, my curry tree looks better than ever. It is in a shady spot, so I'm not expecting it to grow super fast, but it is really green. I have been struggling with that plant using a bunch of different products. It responded okay to certain products more than others, but the major shift it did in greening up was when I started applying this. So, and then the Acerilla cherry, yeah, it's finally holding more fruits than usual. Usually it gets a lot of blooms, but it wouldn't hold, the fruits wouldn't set. It would drop a lot of the flowers. I hope you guys have found this information to be helpful, so that in case this does happen to you in the future, you'll know what to do. But I highly suggest that you be more cautious and know where the source of things comes from before you feed it to your plants, so that this wouldn't even happen in the first place. If you guys want to check out Organic Rev, I will leave the link and the discount code in the box down below for you. And thank you to Organic Rev for sponsoring today's episode. I cannot believe the difference it has made, I was just so surprised. So yeah, and if you guys want to check out some plants and seeds, check out my store. It'd be a really great way to support this channel as well. I will leave all that information in the description box below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more content like this. Thank you guys. I will see you right back here in the next video. Bye.